What's up, everybody? It's me, Polo Camacho, and once again, I am your instructor for Phil 380 Environmental Ethics. Welcome to week 4. This officially marks half of the completion of the course. We have another 4 weeks left, and it's going by really, really quickly. I hope everybody's staying safe. I hope everybody's staying warm, especially with the weather and all the stuff that's going on right now with COVID. What I want to do with this video is just sort of explain the topic for this week. These videos are just sort of designed to help get your mind around what's happening this week in terms of the topic, and also to give you another way of learning what to expect in the course as far as assignments are concerned, and also just talk about any announcements. So if you haven't read any of the previous emails, be sure to do that. So yeah, let's delve into what we're going to talk about this week. So this week, the general topic is going to be value theory. We're going to be talking about value, its nature, and what it is. You might be wondering, well, why is a discussion about value of any significance to ethics or even environmental ethics? Well, it turns out that these discussions are quite fundamental, and we don't even really have to delve into too much theory in order to see why that's the case. Consider the following discussion at a family gathering at the dinner table. Maybe you went to Thanksgiving, maybe you didn't, maybe you've had lunch with friends and you've heard the following arguments being flung around. You might hear one person say, well, we should all wear masks. It's the right thing to do. People's lives are at stake, and by protecting ourselves and wearing masks, we're ensuring that we're not endangering the lives of anybody we care about or anybody around us at a grocery store or something. Now, across the kitchen table, you might have a family member that protests and says, no, we absolutely should not be forced to wear masks. Doing so is wrong because it frustrates our values, our liberties, our freedoms. And by forcing people to wear masks, you're infringing upon this fundamental value that people have, namely their individual rights, their freedoms, their liberties. Now, in that moment, in that discussion, both people who were pro and con wearing masks began with a moral claim, namely that wearing a mask, a PPE mask during COVID, is right or wrong. And then, if you notice, the discussion immediately turns to what is valuable. In the former discussion, someone said, hey, we should all be wearing masks. Why? Because lives are valuable, right? And by not wearing masks, we're not protecting each other. In the other discussion, someone is saying, no, we shouldn't be forced to wear a mask, or we shouldn't be wearing masks because doing so infringes on our rights, our liberties. So notice the move from talking about something is right to something being valuable in just sort of an everyday typical scenario. Well, it turns out that talking about value is quite crucial for a lot of normative ethical theories. As I mentioned in the previous email, if we're consequentialists of the utilitarian stripe, we might assume that something like happiness is good, is valuable. And utilitarianism tells us a story about how to address that value. Similarly with Kantianism or virtue ethics, all of these theories, we might say, have something to say about what's valuable. A theory of what to do or what not to do or what's right or what's wrong is merely a story about how we should go about approaching that value. Is happiness valuable? If so, what should we do with it? Should we maximize it? Is having a good intent valuable? If so, how should we approach our actions in given that idea? So this week we're going to be reading two things. The first set of readings are by J. Baird Callicott and Holmes Rolston. And both of these authors are going to try to give an account of value. They're going to try to offer a theory of what it means for anything to be valuable. We're going to see that there's one theory according to which the value that the world has is value that we assign to it. There's no mind-independent value that exists in the world. The other view that we're going to look at is going to say the opposite, that value is mind-independent. It's something that can exist without a valuer, per se. So those are the readings by J. Baird Callicott and Holmes Rolston. The second set of readings are about whether the idea of intrinsic value is of any significance to environmental ethics, and those readings are by Bruce Morito and Katie McShane. Now, you might be wondering what this topic has anything to do with the assignment for this week, which, as you may already know, is amounts to writing a letter to Governor Laura Kelly. So this week, you're going to have to write a letter to Governor Laura Kelly. Now, before anybody freaks out, you do not have to send the letter to her. This is just an exercise, a practical exercise for communicating environmental problems to our elected officials. This week, you're going to write a letter to Governor Laura Kelly, and in that letter, you're going to highlight an environmental problem that you feel her administration should be paying attention to. That's basically it. You're going to be graded on whether or not you mention an environmental problem and delve into how her administration might pay closer attention to it, or take steps towards addressing that particular issue. Now, I haven't said this in the email, and I haven't said this. You don't necessarily have to send this letter to Governor Laura Kelly. You don't even have to write a letter to Governor Laura Kelly. It can just be to an elected official that is in your vicinity. I understand that not everybody is in Kansas right now, so if you want to write to your state governor, that's perfectly okay too. Now, that's what's up on the docket for the assignments for this week. You're going to be expected to read the readings for this week, to write a letter to Governor Laura Kelly, participate in the discussion section, and that's just, again, to get everyone just sort of active in discussion. If you haven't been, participating, please do. And then the final thing is really just watching any videos or any content that I post in the module. These are going to be absolutely crucial for you, especially moving forward, so I definitely recommend you doing that. And just as sort of a recap, in your letter to Governor Laura Kelly, you might be wondering what value theory has anything to do with writing a letter about an environmental problem to Governor Laura Kelly or to your state governor. Well, in thinking about what environmental problem you want to highlight, you may want to think about what it is that you value, right? If you value biodiversity or healthy ecosystems, you might think about problems that frustrate that, or that would pose a threat to biodiversity or ecosystems, healthy ecosystems. So that's the connection I want you to make this week. I want you to really think about what it is that you value and how Governor Laura Kelly can contribute to that value or approach that value in the way that you deem as ethical. So that's basically it for this week. I realize that the video is now over 7 minutes and 40 seconds. That's basically it. If you have any questions for this week, please, please, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, email me. I'm happy to Zoom with anybody if you want to. Just reach out and we'll talk via email or whatever. All right. Thanks for watching this video. See you next week.